There we are.
You're
here. There you are. Excuse me. I'm Colt Westbrook.
And I'm Philip Hunsicker.
And you're watching the Walrus.
New SKU.
Oh, that's great. This is exactly what you're watching. Here's the deal. Before this went live, we decided to say something completely different. Today's a really special day. And like I said last time, I know you guys categorize your lives in very specific segmented moments. Like we've got graduation. We've got the birth of a child. Some of you have the date of your marriage. Some of you have, what other special days do we celebrate?
Man, I can't hang with you, dude.
But you here celebrate your bookmarks of your life in Walrus Audio releases. And today we have a Walrus Audio pedal release. And so we released it earlier this afternoon. No, what is it? This morning.
We released it, yeah.
It's for sure this morning. We released it this morning.
9 or 10.
It is the Walrus Audio Eons 5-state fuzz. So coming alongside in the format of the Ages 5-state overdrive, the Era's 5-state distortion, we're now offering the Eons 5-state fuzz. And it is right here. Here's the deal. There's only one. And so if you've already purchased it, this one is yours because we don't have enough parts to make more, right?
Yeah, we don't have any more.
That's why it's $229. What else do you want to say to everybody?
We're going to go through. We're going to have Jason and Daniel. The ones that developed this, they're going to talk through the pedal. Yeah.
They're going to talk. So they're going to hold it like this.
Oh, that's a second one, man.
Talk through it. Is that what talk through it means? No, absolutely not. They are the engineers. And so I know for the past couple of hours, you guys have been gearing up all of your questions about how it works, why it works, what it is, what it does, and when, and what, where, and why. So they're going to host a live Q&A. We got some of those questions already submitted, so they're going to be plowing through some of those, but they're also going to open up the channels for a couple of live questions. So today what's happening is, first of all, you start out with us because honestly, we're the best part. This is why you tune in. You tune in to see us, but we're going to give you a couple of other things. We're going to give you what the pedal sounds like in a live setting. So traditionally, we do the Walrus Audio pedal plays, which is guitars, bass, drums, a very traditional band setup so you can hear what the pedal sounds like. So we're going to do the pedal play. You're going to hear both guitars are using the Eons, and the bass is also using the Eons. And the only reason the drums don't have the Eons on it is because we respect you and we love you, and that's a little bit too much fuzz. But is there such thing as too much fuzz? My grandma always said there wasn't. So without further ado, here's the pedal play.
jacked up the bridge B, but yeah. Bridge B. You're good.
Hopefully the B-roll can have a shot of that. No being proud of it, so.
Hey, yeah, how was that? How about that for some fuzz and some band and some guitar video? We're back. Philip here, along with Colt.
That's me, Colt.
I'm just kidding. We traded places. My name's Jason. I'm the chief engineer here at Walrus. This is Daniel. This is Colt's somewhere in the room. This is Daniel.
I'm Daniel.
Daniel was sort of the point engineer on the project. He's one of our engineers here. He ran Point. This is his baby. He spent the most time with it. We all heard him spending time with it.
Mm-hmm.
But he had the most hands-on time with this pedal, designing it. And we just wanted to talk a little bit more about it in detail, talk about how, like, where the idea came from, how it came to be, maybe some of the tech behind it. So yeah, let's jump in. So, like, the idea in general came from, we had the Ages Overdrive with this whole 5-state idea. It started with the Ages, and then we did the Eras. And as soon as we did the Eras, we kind of knew, like, this is really something we wanted to pursue and we wanted to do more of. And fuzz just seemed to be the next, like, natural progression in the series. And so we kind of knew basic controls that we would have. Obviously, we would have the mode switch there.
Yeah.
But yeah, talk us through a little bit about how we came up with the controls that we have around the mode switch, some of the inspiration, etc.
Yeah, so in line with the continuity of the Ages and the Eras, we wanted to have sort of the separate treble and bass controls, right, and gain volume, obviously. But the main difference, I guess, between this and those other ones is that voltage knob at the top. And that really came from just doing a whole bunch of research and like, playing a bunch of, like, you know, classic great fuzz pedals and what people are doing with those pedals. And what we were really drawn to was that, like, voltage starved dying battery sound, that Velcro stuff you can get from cutting off the bias voltage there. So so we replaced the what has traditionally been some sort of a clean blend, like a parallel path clean blend, with this voltage control knob. So that top middle knob, you can grab it and you can dial the voltage around from 18 volts, so a higher voltage, relatively speaking, in the pedal world, down to around 3 volts, 3 and some change. And this is only affecting the fuzz portion of the circuit, right? It doesn't affect the EQ. It doesn't affect any of the other audio processing sort of elements in the circuit, but mainly just the transistor fuzz, the gain stages, right? Yeah, the main fuzz section of.
And then making it variable. It does a lot of things that allows you to go from, again, like high voltage, which is really smooth and really compressed, lots of sustain, to sort of more medium, starting to become a gated sound, but not really a strong gate, down to really splatty kind of Velcro gated idea kind of sound at low voltages. Another thing that it does, though, is it doesn't just change the breakup characteristic. It also affects the pedal from a tonal perspective. So as you drop the voltage, it also becomes more mid-forward.
Yeah,
it
you lose a little bit of low end.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit sharper, like on the highs.
Yeah. So you compensate. You'll lose some volume as well, so you compensate with your volume knob. But at first, we were, there was a lot of obvious things that we were thinking about doing with the mode switch. And that really, gives it offers or makes for a fuzz pedal with a lot of different sounds, right? Just by nature of having that switch with 5 positions and how we kind of work that in the circuit, and how that interacts with the circuit, right? Just offers a lot of sounds. But we started thinking about the voltage knob a little bit later, and when we added that, it was kind of a happy accident where we realized that now each one of these modes has a lot of different sounds to choose from by just moving the voltage knob around. And so it really just opens up a ton of sonic texture from a single fuzz pedal. And we're really excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah. What else? We talked to our good friend Tim Stewart, plays for it's like a startup, like up and coming, like Lady
Not that
Gaga
well
is this new thing.
Yeah.
She's kind of come on the scene. We talked to Tim about it. He's had one for a while and really digs it. And yeah, so we thought we'd share a little bit of the interview with Tim and let you kind of hear what he has to say about it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Hey, Tim, thanks so much for being here and for chatting about the Eons. Really appreciate your time.
Definitely, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so just like maybe a little bit of context and background about you and who you're playing with, etc. So like who these days are you playing with and who are you working with?
I just got home from on tour with Lady Gaga. We just were out for about 3 months or so.
Is that that's like a cover band, like a bar cover band that you're playing with?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
All
You're out for
across
3 months, huh?
Southern California.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a long run. 3 months is a while.
Yeah, I mean, it was only 20 shows, but they were all stadium shows, and they were spaced, kind of interestingly placed. Yeah. It was awesome though, man. It was a great experience. We hadn't played with her in a few years, so it was a lot of fun.
So I mean, yeah, you're clearly a versatile player, playing with Gaga, playing pop stuff, playing heavier stuff, I think you do quite a bit with American Idol as well, right?
Yeah, I've done about 4 or 5 seasons. I'm set to do the next one as well. So I'm just getting prepared for a beating.
That covers a lot of ground, right? So I mean, when you think about that's a lot of different styles, right? Like kind of all over the place. So like, what do you feel like one particular style is more you, or that you enjoy more, or you just love the diversity, or like what do you feel like is your style?
I think I like the diversity, man. I don't know. I just like a lot of music. I think I'm like most people that love everything. They find something about this band or this artist that they love, or this style that they love, and I feel like that's always how I've been. I grew up surrounded by a ton of different types of people and music. I grew up in the Bay Area, and it was just so much happening at that time. So
yeah,
I don't know. I guess I've always really loved soul music. I've always really loved punk rock music.
Yeah,
just coming from that area. So
sure. Yeah, somebody, a buddy, a long time ago, I asked him kind of a similar question. He said, "I'll listen to anything," and that's kind of stuck with me, and something that I've kind of adopted and ran with, like, because I'm really open to I'll listen to anything. It doesn't mean I necessarily like it, long term, but like I just want to always be open to listen to anything,
I think you have to, and I think most people do. I think sometimes musicians find a breaking point when it comes to like pop music or hip hop. There's like this point where they're like, well, it seems like they just found some writers, and they found some of the best writers in the world, and some of the best producers in the world, and they sat and meticulously made these songs. I mean,
it wasn't easy.
No, I don't think anything's easy. Yeah. And there's you find good things in all styles of music. To me, it's like food, or it's like movies. Like I don't just like one type of movie and that's it, or I don't just eat hamburgers, man. I'm like I like all types of food. I mean, it's just it's like talking with different people,
Yeah.
So I don't know, I feel lucky to do it. And I feel like playing different styles really kind of keeps you sharp and keeps you like a fan of music. If I'm playing something that I'm not really that great at, then I'm learning. Someone's teaching me the little nuances and the things of each style of music that is there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So your own project, the Band Knives, right?
Yeah.
Ricky and Johnny are in that with you, but then they're also on the Gaga thing as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
What brought all you guys together? Like, how did you meet them, and how did you get connected with them?
I knew Ricky years and years ago, and then when I came on to play with Gaga, he had already been there for a few years.
Okay.
And we're like just brothers. So we decided to make a make a band while we were out. It's like 2012 or 13, and we are like,
Okay.
man, we should be, we should do it. So
Yeah.
we pretty much on tour made our first couple albums.
Okay.
Just me and him in hotel rooms, on buses, and yeah. Since then, we put out a couple albums, and Johnny came. I met Johnny maybe like 9 or 10 years ago, and we mean the
Okay.
same thing. We just like brothers right away,
That's awesome.
We have another band as well called Damage that we started.
Mm.
Johnny and I. It's kind of more on the punk rock edge, So I'm excited about that as well.
Wow. Is that
Yeah,
stuff out yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
We've got a lot, and Ricky's produced and played on a bunch of it and written a bunch of it with us. So it's kind of like a family affair, man. We just making music, and at this point, I'm just making music. I have no
for sure. That's awesome.
other motives. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys all on tour with Gaga, like we've seen the moving stage. How many like close calls have you all had with like the moving stage?
Oh yeah, this time was a lot of fire. So
it was a lot of fire. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I just didn't want to catch on fire.
like do not walk areas, like
yeah,
don't step
pretty
here.
much.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I was wearing a latex skirt, so that I would have definitely felt,
Yeah, that could have stuck on. That would have stayed with you for a while.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh man. Maybe we need latex skirts.
So
I think so, man.
Walking around the R&D lab in latex skirts. Yeah, keep from getting shocked and
Yeah.
engineer jokes.
safety.
Safety. Yeah.
Safety first, bro.
Safety. Well, hey, this is Daniel Rodriguez. He's one of our engineers, and he probably spent more time with the Eons than anybody. This fuzz pedal that we're talking about, and so I thought maybe you want to run down some questions about the Eons, and I think you've been able to spend some time with it as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just love to hear your thoughts and opinions. I don't know if you want to throw some questions his way.
Yeah. So Tim, pleasure for you to try out this pedal. And I was just wondering, how do you see this? How did you see this, the Eons fitting with your sound and in your playing style, both on stage in a playing context, or like for your personal music
Oh
experience?
yeah, man. I think like for me, I've always used fuzz pedals. I've always had them in my chain, specifically with the band and all my writing. I kind of veer toward the fuzz like almost immediately.
Like that sound versus distortion or overdrive. Like you're more into that.
I kind of am, man. It's like a lot of the Band Knife stuff is super fuzz driven, and I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of uses for it. The thing I found about the Eons was it's super versatile. I think some of the fuzzes I've used in the past, man, it's like from 0 to 1,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like
right,
trying to control it, where to put it in the chain, like you know what I mean? All those things, because it usually overtakes.
Yeah.
But that's the purpose of it, though. That's
for sure.
But I did notice this has. I like the modes. I like that there's like a ton of different ways I could use it. You know, and we can go all out, or we can. I love the battery. Like,
yeah, I was gonna ask you
the voltage
knob. Yeah.
Oh man, that's sick, man. Like,
yeah,
it's genius. I feel like with that, it's like, yeah, you can pretty much have a wide palette of fuzz tones.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Because like a lot of pedals would, not offer that. And then it would be set to like, say 18 volts, most likely, or like a high voltage.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of sounds there, especially with the mode knob. If you imagine that voltage knob not being there, right? There's still plenty of sound. There's a lot of sounds in the Eons. But that's one thing that I've noticed is like, after you go through all of those with the voltage knob untouched, set to like a high voltage, you can go back through all of them and start to drop that knob and everything changes, like tonally changes, feel of it changes, breakup change, like characteristic changes, times every like mode, right? Because they all react differently and with different guitars. So that's what got me really excited. It was like, we had something with like the circuit and the mode knob and like what we were manipulating there. But then we brought that voltage knob like out to the front where it's like, hey, let's let people control it. It was like, oh, like this is something a little special,
Completely, because you can almost use it like a filter effect too, like you know, it doesn't have to be a huge sound. Sometimes
Yeah.
like I want like a very small kind of
Yep.
almost not to say, but like kind of a crappy sounds like it's in a
Yeah.
boombox sound, and then you can
For me,
and
that's mode 3 with
yeah, I
voltage like
understand.
just below noon, right? It gets like
Yeah,
mid-rangey and like honky, but in a really cool way.
very cool, and it's small. Like it sits in
Yep.
the you know, it's not taking up all this sonic space, which
Yep.
is
It's more, it's like all of a sudden you
cuts
have like a right, you have like a part sound, you know, that'll
part
like
sound. Yep.
stick out and cut in a mix. So that's so cool. Yeah. So do you have like favorite modes yourself, like on the mode knob or
Yeah, I mean, I think the last mode I like
yeah.
quite a bit because that's like the all out to me, you know.
Talk to me. What's mode 5 again?
Mode 5 is LED and silicon
Yep.
soft clipping and silicon hard clipping.
That's all out. That's
Yeah, that's all
everything.
out. I was like,
That's
whoa.
all the buttons are in.
Yeah.
You know?
I like that
Yeah.
for sure. But I like 3, I like 1 a lot as well,
Yeah.
you know, for different reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah,
3
it's
has germanium clipping diodes, and they have the whole life of their own. And that's where you get that like real unique like filtered effect almost, where it's
yeah,
real mid-rangey. And then 1 for me is just so smooth. It's
it's
so versatile.
buttery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's buttery, man.
Yeah. Lots of sustain, especially, and that's the other thing, like sustain, you know, as you go up on the voltage knob, you get all the sustain. And as you
Yeah.
go down, you get like the sputtery, like
Yeah, which I love.
broken thing. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Cool. What other questions do you have?
How do you see this Eons fuzz like compared to like the rest of the gear you've tried? Like
I think really it's the versatility for me, man. Like the amount of sounds I can get for it, especially for recording. It's like, man, because a lot of times I'll use you know, after I record, I'll use like EQs and different things to get the sounds I want with this. I just feel like there's so many options, and options for me is like when you're recording, it's just like having a palette of all kind of colors, man. It's just it's inspiring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the creative thing where like there's so much to explore.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I think to me that's a huge part of playing too. You know, you know what I mean? You play something and it kind of surprises you and you're like, oh, I'm immediately gonna approach it this way now. You know, that's a beautiful thing. I love that about pedals in general, but yeah, the Eons, man, I think I would use it a lot recording, man, because it's just so much I can do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's so much to explore. That's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like that's it was a bit of a happy accident. You know, I don't know that we at first realized that voltage knob was going to be, you know, alter so many things about the pedal. I thought, you know, like, okay, it's probably going to do the dying battery thing. Well, like, what is that actually? Like, it is, yes, sustain and like the, like I said, like the sputtery Velcro sort of sound, which is cool, but it also changes like tonality of everything as well. So you get this sort of like crazy filter effect, like you were mentioning, going on as well as you drop that down, as well as sustain and the breakup characteristic changing. So, when we started playing with that, I was like, oh man, like this is it. We just played it for a long time. It's so fun.
That's the best part, man. That's you know, that should be the whole point of everything at this stage in the game. You know, man. Like, there's so many pedals out there. There's so many things, but to find something that really inspires you to you know, just want to sit and play with it for hours. That's like, I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
for sure. Yeah. Because I mean, ultimately, it's all about making the music, right? Like, it is. That's what we're looking for. We're hoping to inspire sounds on records and on the whole creative side of making music. Like, and so when you're sitting in a room playing for a long time, like that's great. But then what the creative ideas that come out of that is really like what we're hoping to bring out. So
definitely, man.
That's awesome to hear that you found that as well and that you're into it. Man, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sweet.
Definitely,
well,
dude. Thank you guys for having me, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for making amazing pedals. Shit.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you. We'll keep trying.
Oh man, come on. That's amazing to me. I can barely even freaking put a screw in the wall. I don't even know what
Yeah, for sure. We got.
I can't even count to 10.
Yeah. Well, you just keep making cool sounds with the stuff, and we'll be all good.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
It's awesome,
All right, man.
dude.
Appreciate
Thanks,
you.
Tim.
We'll talk to you
Hell
later.
yeah. All right,
Take
bro.
care. See ya.
See y'all.
Bye.
Peace.
How about that? Big thanks to Tim. Tim's such a great guy. He's been a good buddy for quite a while. So we're just super excited about this thing. It's so fun. Every time we turn it on, you just want to leave it on.
Yeah.
You end up playing for quite a while, and then you're just super stoked on it. You know, can't stop playing it. So. So the Eons is available today from walrusaudio.com, from all of our dealers. It's $229. You can go pick it up. I would hurry if you're interested in it. They're going to go quick, the first round, and then we'll have next rounds shortly after that. This video today is not brought to you by these drinks here, but these are some of my favorite drinks. We have Meteor Cafe water bottle. We've got LaCroix in a really refreshing tangerine color, and then we got to cleanse the palate with just plain Topo Chico.
Yeah,
you know, as you do. So hey, let's take some questions about the Eons from you guys. What do we got? Who's back there asking questions? Dalton, am I supposed to be hearing you right now, bro? Yes. Well.
I mean, I can hear you, but I can't
You can hear him, but
Now?
Hey, there it is.
Bueno.
What's up, Dalton?
What's up?
Hey, man.
up?
What's going on?
Not much. This is Dalton.
Yeah, it is.
So we got Lewis Wingrove on YouTube. What voltage does this pedal require? 9 volts, or can she run on 18 volts?
She does run on 18 volts, Lewis, with a 9-volt supply. So we take care of that whole mess inside the pedal. Just give it 9 volts, and we'll do the rest.
9 volts.
And then you can turn it down with the voltage knob, and we beat this into the ground. But you got this knob on top right here. You back it down from 18. But we take it to 18 internally. And so, you just need to power it with 9 volts.
Yeah.
What else?
All right, we got a question from Instagram. Why not a clean blend on this pedal?
Yeah, so
Good question.
There's only so many spots, for controls. We really like these controls. A lot of time we think about clean blend for our bass playing friends. And I will say that, we that went through our minds. We thought a lot about it. We talked a lot about it. When we tried this on bass, I don't think anybody cared that it didn't have a clean blend. It roared. It was so big that we were just like, hey, I think it's fine. Like, I think it's going to be great as it is. So, lots of internal conversation about that for sure. But we're stoked with where we landed.
Yeah.
We got another question from Instagram. Would this stack well with the Iron Horse?
Yeah, I mean, if you drive into it, like an Iron Horse in front of it, it's just going to offer more sustain. It's just going to hit the front end of the fuzz circuit super hard with a sort of an already colored broken up sound, and it's gonna make the Eons react differently. It does play well with other dirt pedals though.
Yeah,
for sure.
Before it or after it, they work pretty well. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we got another question from Frank Sarney on YouTube. What circuit is this based on?
Yeah, so it's a typical 3 transistor kind of thing. If you boil it all down, but there's a lot to boil down. So maybe that answers your question.
Yeah.
There's a lot more going on in there than just 3 transistors, though. That's for sure.
Another question from YouTube, Joseph McGinn. Is this stereo?
Is this our Joseph McGinn?
I think so.
Don't be asking questions like that. No, it's not stereo, Joe. Sorry, bro.
V2. Wait for it.
V2.
It's going to happen.
It's coming soon, though.
We have another question from YouTube. Will the Eons do the Eric Johnson thing?
Which Eric Johnson?
Yeah.
Is it? Is this another trick question? What'd you say? Yes, it definitely will. Yeah. Grow your hair out long and blonde? Absolutely.
Yeah, I had to start cutting it off.
Yeah.
Okay, we got another one. How does this work with bass?
Yeah, it's sick. I mean, if you go watch our pedal play video, that was it was being brought in and out on the bass, I believe, throughout the whole video. Yeah, like I said, I mean, we were concerned or, thought about, like, it doesn't have a clean blend. How's it going to be on bass? How's it going to play with bass? It rips. It's awesome. It's so fun to play on bass. So I would definitely not hesitate on getting one to try it out on bass for sure.
Yeah.
What else, Dalton?
Jason, is
Yes,
cereal soup?
Is cereal soup? I think I saw this question. Shout out Aaron Miller. Yeah, I think it is. It's a chilled soup. It definitely would fall in the soup category.
I would tend to agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever had a cold soup before?
Definitely. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's Mia saying it's not like cold soup. Come on, Mia.
We have one on YouTube from Sublime My Mind 23. Do you have more pedals planned with the rotary knob, or are you going to keep it as a trio?
That's a good question. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I could. Can you say, Daniel?
I cannot confirm or deny anything.
Sorry.
We got one from YouTube. What's your favorite mode for a Telecaster?
So that's actually a good question. So I don't know that that the modes are super guitar specific, although I do feel most at home with the Telecaster. I will tell you my favorite mode is probably 1 and 3 with a Tele. I really just like 3 because it's a very shaped, interesting, sort of just warm, mid-forwardy thing with the germanium diodes, and it really plays well. I think Mark Johnson pointed this out on the chat. Mode 3 plays so well with the voltage knob. When you drop it, it does just this really interesting sort of breakup thing, and then it does the whole tonal thing. But with the germanium diodes in there, and it already being more mid-forward, that's just one of my favorite sounds in it for sure.
Yeah.
So with the Tele. Yeah.
We got one from Michael Zeladon on YouTube. What pedals inspired the modes?
So I don't know that different pedals inspired the modes necessarily. It was more us like mining different sounds.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
just sort of exploring what kind of clipping options give interesting sounds. And yeah, we kind of went through it that route, not necessarily trying to emulate or...
Yeah, so just to be clear, the mode knob is not like, it's not supposed to change this to be like different fuzz pedals, per mode, but it is definitely different flavors of this particular pedal in each mode. And like Daniel said, we just set out to explore how we can change the clipping characteristics and the tonal characteristics in several different ways, and then we sort of package all those up in these different modes on this mode switch. So.
Yeah. Shout out Michael. Love you, brother.
Christian Hilly on YouTube asks, the people want to know, are bass and treble controls pre or post clipping section?
Yeah, they're post, I believe.
They're post, yeah.
They're both post. Then they're boost cut.
Yeah, they're both boost cut.
So you let the natural frequencies kind of come through with a little bit of pre-gain tone shaping that's fixed, and then we run those into this bass and treble control that are active. It allows you to boost and cut those different frequencies as you see fit.
Yeah, and mode 2 gives you a pre-EQ, distortion bass boost. So if you're looking for that, mode 2.
Yeah, and then on the contrary, if you're looking for less bass, pre-drive, which is a lot of time where we like to shape bass, which is why we did that. You can you can use the other modes. Modes 1, 3, 4, and 5 don't have that bass emphasis built into it. And so those are going to be a little tighter in terms of low frequency response. But don't sleep on how thick and big Mode 2 gets. It's amazing.
It's really good.
What else?
So Bull God asks, one word, shoegaze, question mark?
Oh, man. Daniel, you take that.
I'm almost saying Mode 5.
Mode 5?
Mode 5.
That's where you'd go?
Shoegaze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, they for sure are.
Joseph McGinn also asks, what is Daniel's favorite guitar, especially in revolving around this pedal?
I played it with so many different kinds of guitars.
What was your favorite? What did you gravitate towards?
I tend to like it with a telly.
Yeah.
I really thought it brought out, like, just with the low, like, less low end into it. Just really
Lower output pickups maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Daniel knows where all my tellies are. And
Oh yeah, they're all in my office.
so that means a lot of time they're not. Yeah, in my office. What else we got?
Sublime My Mind 23 asks, if you combine all three pedals, do they form a Mega Zoltron pedal?
I guess you got to buy all three to find out.
I don't think so. I don't know about that question, to be honest. What is that? Yeah, I don't think it does. Well, yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
You can try, though.
Next question from Michael. Is it optimized to be first in the chain, or can it go anywhere?
Yeah, another good question. It doesn't really care. It's not too picky about running it like, a guitar straight into it, or running it after a buffer or other drive pedals, etc. So we would definitely encourage you to experiment with where you put it in your chain, but don't go into it thinking like it has to be in a particular position, which is really helpful.
Yeah.
Personal question from me. What really inspired the voltage knob?
I think just what we said earlier about how, we'd kind of seen that, that some old power supplies have that variable voltage control, and we started just kind of messing with it with like a bench power supply where we can kind of change the voltage and experiment with a lot of different voltages, and that sort of opened our eyes to like, how do we bring this to the pedal? So that's kind of how we got there. And then in terms of the range, you just kind of you play with it to the point where you come up with what you feel like is a usable range. There's definitely like too low of a voltage, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense, where it stops, sounding interesting and starts to sound broken in a bad way, not broken in a good way. So yeah, that's kind of where it came from.
Okay. Alex Herder asks, why Mode 5 for shoegaze? Please elaborate.
It's just the most gritty, grungy.
Yeah. Why don't you break down Mode 5? Like what's going on under the hood?
So under the hood, in the final sort of clipping stage that you have, the final transistor, you have LED and silicon clipping diodes, and then you also have silicon hard clipping diodes.
All at the same time.
All at the same time. So you have this big distorted signal that you're then hard clipping.
Yeah.
So it just sounds big, huge.
There you go. So you have basically everything turned on all the one time in Mode 5.
Yeah.
Andrea Herrera asks, why the RAM for the cover art?
Colt, why the RAM for the cover art? Yeah, we're just looking for like, yeah. Yeah, don't read into it. Just thinking about like tusked animals with horns. You got the ages and the eras, and we just wanted to keep the theme, and we came up with this idea to do this crazy looking ram.
I think it looks sick.
Red Minus asks, do any of the stages work better or worse with a buffer, or does the voltage have much of an effect on that?
No.
That's it.
That's it, and that's all. Next question.
No, it does not affect a buffer before or after. It won't affect any of the modes or the voltage.
Yep. Nope. What else we got?
Fabiano asks, why not an expression pedal input for the volt knob?
Because you gotta leave something for people to mod. So we decided we just kind of, leave that off. It's gonna happen. It's gonna show up as it should. So, that's why. Hey, thanks so much. I think we're out of time. We're out of maybe out of questions as well. We covered a lot of ground. This pedal is so fun. It unlocks so many fuzz tones from one box, and we're super excited about it. Again, it's available today at walrusaudio.com, all of our dealers. It's $229. Jump on there and order, and we should be able to even ship it out today. And thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next episode of New SKU soon.